I think it's for only Mario and for anyone else. So essentially, he's basically released rings that said, I fight Starman only. There should be a way to help him as he's flying through the air helplessly. So Mario is encased right now in a tiny little box. Why couldn't he have stayed outside with the rest of them? I mean, aside from him being the obsessive douchebag, why does he specifically have to come to the multi-dimensional road too? The others are standing outside just fine in their own world. Why does Mario specifically have to stay with Starman3? Aside from, you know, he's the obvious answer, he's obsessed. I'll be ready for anything, and he just gets kicked in the face. He's not dead, he won't be dead. It speeds up. And this is the only appearance of actually some of these characters who actually start encouraging him in his own head. Funny how it speeds up. Yeah, in his head, the encouraging voices encourage him to get up, you know, the voices of the people he cares about. MM761 got a few of these color codes. And, funnily enough, this is the appearance of actually only a very few amount of characters. The first appearance, actually, which is sad. So, you know how they said they were cheering them on? Yeah, they are actually cheering them on, you know, in their own, his own mind. With memes, too. First appearance of him here. He wasn't into the 4th dimension, but, you know. That, yeah. If you can't read that text that says Smus8484, oh. You haven't seen Smus in this series yet? Oh, wait, yeah, he's gonna appear eventually. Smus. There's a lot I can say about Smus right now, but I'm not going to. I'll wait until his actual version appears. But his 4th dimensional counterpart literally only appears inside Starman3's head for 1 second. He's also first appeared here. Funny how that one said Korokoro761. He can't even remember the names of them because there's so many of them. Now I'm gonna go through the Star World ones. And Mario 761 didn't get the correct color code either. He got the one from Starman3, which is still wrong. Notice how all the Star World counterparts are the same color? Yeah, that's why nobody wants to use them. Mario, you created rules that are so stupid. So yeah, some of these debuted in this head. Also the JPG effect again. They debuted in his head. Yeah. He's unconscious now. But he'll wake up. He'll wake up. He'll wake up. We're gonna Deus Ex Machina this. Wow, he's gonna elaborate on this, but, you know, not Starman3 on anything. They all just speak out loud. just appeared. Funny how Starman3's just observing all of this.
It's time, mine.
Now he's literally choreo 5 4 3 2 1 reversed. With a sparkly color code. Well, not color code. Sparkly code. He somehow knows the name of it. Yeah, again, another power he has that he's gonna forget eventually. He literally uses it once. So yeah, they're supposed to be using as well. Oh yeah, by the way, here is actual 2 other counterparts too. So yes, they can apparently telepathically speak to each other too, if they're the same person. He was imagining the others before though. To separate the Star X and bring the Light Star X, you've had to bring the other one too. It's gonna do it again if it's fused with Starman. If you're gonna fuse with that one, then they're literally just gonna be the same thing. Yay, and it's gonna get beaten again, and they're both gonna get sealed away again! Watch his body get distorted too. Not even he can handle the power of Sony Vegas! Of the Dark Star X, probably. Oh, are they called super forms? I thought they were called your X forms. So, yeah, I'm assuming at this point that the Dark Czar was giving him and his friends the portal, giving him and the enemies, which are his friends, the power to just go to the multi-dimensional world whenever to give the heroes a disadvantage in an environment they're not familiar with. Because if we're talking that Dark Star from before, because it simply has not been mentioned, he mentioned it and it literally did nothing this whole time. Yeah. Way to continuity. It's just a fragmented version of a Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door song. But the Light Star X is the other half. So, aren't they essentially equal? Also, you can notice that they simply did not have the proper blinking animation, so now the eyebrows are just randomly appearing in whenever. Also, even though this is supposed to be super, super powerful, it really isn't in comparison when Starman 3 goes all super Deus Ex Machina on him, pretty much. The sparkles create an even worse JPG effect, by the way. See all this. Oh my god. His hat, his nose, his face. It's only because he's moving you can barely notice it. And the fact that he's in a yellow environment too. Isn't it so graceful that the sky also happened to be yellow too? Yeah, because he's your other half. The Darkster X and the Lightster X are supposed to be the equal to each other. The dark and the light as quote-unquote the generalistics of general. You know, as light and dark are in most things of media. So, they're supposed to be the halves to one another. So, why are you surprised? JPG effect. Watch him just suddenly move to the right. As we suddenly try to shift ourselves from this thing. Even though he's supposed to be watching the fight, he's staring straight ahead. JPG effect. It's even worse. Seriously, look at all this distortion. I know it's nitpicking, and if you're gonna go on at me for it, I understand, but seriously, it is kind of jarring. So, but while Starman 3X is busy dealing with the Starman 3X clones, we're gonna deal with down below. So yes, Mario do has a point being here, but he really shouldn't have come here for this exact reason. So yes, if Mario wasn't here, Starman 3 would have died. But Mario is going to die too. Almost. Also yes, even though he turned into his Starman 3X, he's now still his regular form, even though he did. You saw that, it was his regular form for a split second while he kicked Mario up. Talk about rushed. I mean, I know it's 15 minutes, but come on, try to keep consistency. I can kind of forgive you if a color code's like wrong in like one area, like with Mario's hair constantly being yellow this whole fight, but like, he just transformed, isn't he supposed to stay that way?
She doesn't like very good hate.
I have no idea what that sound clip there is supposed to be, by the way, and it's really weird. Let's just assume he gracefully avoided the 8 people below him. I was too busy fighting your clones. But wasn't he already fighting you? What? Shouldn't he be aware that he would have tried to get the real one anyway? Mario761 still has flaws. Even though he could have done this the whole time, because Starman 3 is supposed to be the final threat, now he suddenly does it now. And yes, even still while he was in the why he just transformed before. Music cutting. And what? And now you will die as represented by spitting. Oh dear, if that happened to be the wrong way around, Starman3 would have died instead. You slammed him into the ground. He's not going to come back. You just said that. Yay, he vanished. Great, let's go back home now. Now we're back to Starman3's actual scripting. He's in the multi-dimensional road attempting to get back to you? Also, Luigi wasn't watching that battle, so why is he here now? Lovely continuity. Or, you know, just an average entrance like everyone else that's over-bloated to the point of ridiculous. Ness. Mario, you watched him as he fought! You heard the others talking. Aren't you aware that he's in the multi-dimensional road? So, shouldn't you be thinking that he's trying to attempt to come back home? You were watching! My god, seriously! I bet he watched like 2 minutes of the fight scene, then totally gave up, and then, you know, scripted the line stupidly. Because he has watched this to the full ending before with me in a stream. Which is depressing because he actually didn't do that while he was watching the video. While he was editing it. What is editing? Yeah, Mario did too. We're gonna start the member quota for this video. But Mario saw him too. So So wasn't that script line, the way it was phrased, totally stupid? Because I don't like the thought of me losing. You weren't watching the fight. By the way, yes, these two just randomly appear here and now. And they're told to look for him now, but, you know, they didn't actually watch the fight. Let's fight the member quota for this video. Also, oh hi teleportation, I was about to say, waste of space if you're not going to use this part. Smus, yeah, remember when I said that his counterpart's going to actually appear? Yeah, yeah, his normal counterpart actually appears later on. Also, watch this X thing happen often, because X is a letter they like to use often. Smus's username is actually an acronym for Super Mega Ultrasonic, or his old one was anyway, before he changed it on Skype and everywhere else. I'm not Smus anymore, he calls himself. But it's all, when we refer to him, it's Super Mega Ultrasonic, so Sonic X. He doesn't like Sonic X, so he removed the X later on, realizing that. Because he's a huge Sonic fan and all that. Love how Starman3 just teleports him in, even though he could have just been in the scene before. The recording wasn't long enough and I couldn't do the jitties. I call them the jitties because it looks like the character's a bit skitty as they're doing it sometimes as they, as they're bobbing up and down. It's kind of like they're jittering. So that's why I say that. But no, he couldn't even do that. That would have been too bad to just keep the character in the scene. No, he won't. He'll just use whatever the heck he's gonna come up with next. That sounds more like Starman3 instead of Smuss. Well, Smuss was a bit towards Matt, but it was only in a jokey way, not in the way Starman3 would imply here. And since all the characters are the same, except maybe with one differentiating quirk, that's kind of the reason. You three were not watching the fight, and you did literally nothing, so why are you here? Also, this guy's gonna appear in this color code once, and then he's not gonna appear again until he has a different color code later on, which looks weirder and more blue. Mario Dylan and SMG4 also did nothing throughout this whole thing. They didn't watch, so they're just searching now because the member quota is the member quota. Let these member scenes where a couple scenes switch to 2 or 3 people at a time and this group line just changes to these 3 or 4 people. These scenes are going to happen a lot more often, okay? And it's the kind of stuff I'm talking about when the character speaks once and then they never talk again. Because it's gonna happen a lot. Like I said, repeatedly, because I don't know how much more I can emphasize the point that this happens a lot. I'm only here because the member quota is a thing. Yes, they totally need him. And only doing the chant brings them back, and not all the searching they were doing. Also, we're not going to show the ground because of how inconsistent our character positions are. So even though he was literally 2 seconds off the ground a second ago, he's now suddenly high up in the sky. Yay! Even though we're invisible! And it's all in Starman3's text too! Color, I mean. Oh dear, what would have happened had he... Wait a minute, wasn't he ever here? Why did he fall here? As expected. Great, series over. Let's move on to the next thing. Great. You can tell what code he's using here. It's the moon jump code because that only does the first animation and not the second one. Or just take him to a doctor? I'm pretty sure if you have video games in this world, I'm pretty sure you also have doctors. Oh, I'm pretty sure that being slammed into the wall for a split second is gonna keep him alive. Seriously? Like, look at how much he paid attention to that fight. He didn't even pay attention to the other members that were watching the fight, but he certainly paid attention to Mario being slammed into a wall. Look at his attention span, guys.
Stay tuned for part 10 for the ending and the surprise, and also the credits.
And the credits are made so easy to thing. See you all, have a good day, peace, and I'll see you in part 10 because that's literally the only thing that this thing is. See you all then.
But comment below, who is the doctor? Just guess it, okay? So
No one's gonna care.